For nearly 50 years, it drifted silently, a lone sentinel navigating a path invisible to human eyes. Beyond the planets, past the last whisper of the solar wind, into the darkness beyond the reach of any telescope, Voyager 2 traveled. Born in 1977, in a time when disco reigned on Earth and computers filled entire rooms, it was never meant to survive this long. Its mission was brief, 5 years, just enough to touch the outer planets, to collect what little data humanity could send across the void. Yet here it is, half a century later, still alive, still transmitting, still whispering secrets from the edge of existence. And now, for the first time, what it has sent back is more than measurements. It's a message. A signal. A cosmic story written not in words, but in the structure of space itself. Voyager 2 didn't merely leave the solar system. It crossed a threshold. A sharp, defined line where the familiar warmth of the sun gives way to the cold expanse of interstellar space. Scientists once imagined a gradual fade, a soft blending of the solar wind with the galactic medium. Instead, Voyager recorded a shock. Plasma density spiked. Magnetic fields snapped into alignment. Cosmic radiation surged by 70%. It was not a gentle transition. It was a wall, a membrane, a frontier behaving as though it were alive. The heliosphere, we now know, is not just a bubble. It breathes. It reacts. It pulses with the sun's rhythm. Expanding during solar maximums, shrinking during quiet periods, flexing and pulsing like the chest of a sleeping giant. And Voyager, approaching from a slightly different angle than its twin, crossed that frontier at a distance neither anticipated nor consistent with previous predictions. The boundary moves, flexes, breathes, a living edge to our solar cocoon. Then came the magnetic revelation. Far from chaotic interactions predicted by models, the sun's magnetic field outside the heliopause aligned almost perfectly with the interstellar magnetic field. Clean. Seamless. Unexpected. Could this have been natural? Possibly. But statistically improbable. Too perfect. Too deliberate looking. Some whispered darker thoughts. Could this alignment be intentional? Could it be a natural structure shaped over eons, or a constructed one? In 2019, Voyager went silent. Hours passed, days stretched. Engineers at NASA watched helplessly. The probe, over 11 billion miles away, stopped transmitting. Then, as if nothing had happened, it came back online. No commands were sent. No human intervention possible. Yet, buried in the data were electromagnetic spikes, rhythmic pulses in plasma, perfectly regular, unexplainable. A heartbeat. A rhythm that seemed alive. Weeks turned into months, and the pulse continued. Low-frequency fluctuations in the surrounding plasma, every 13.2 hours, unchanging. Not random turbulence, not solar wind, not cosmic rays. A signal. Something alive. Something aware. The medium itself seemed to breathe around Voyager, subtly shifting, compressing, relaxing, as if the fabric of space were conscious, observing, responding. When the data was converted into sound, it was terrifyingly organic. A pulse. A heartbeat. Not mechanical, not digital, but alive. And then came the spirals, bursts of energy followed by silence, repeating in recursive waves, increasing in amplitude at precise intervals. The pattern mirrored Fibonacci sequences, the same ratio found in galaxies, hurricanes, and seashells. Some whispered, intelligence. Was the plasma simply reacting to Voyager's presence? Or was it transmitting? Communicating? The probe's magnetometer readings soon revealed even stranger behavior. Fields inverted. Energy folded around it, bending as if space itself had mass. Time seemed to flex. A lensing effect without the mass to cause it. Something was manipulating reality around the probe, or something within reality was interacting with Voyager. Engineers scratched their heads. Theoretical physicists debated in hushed tones. Was this a lens, a filter, a gateway? A one-way doorway allowing signals to leave the solar system, while keeping whatever lies beyond, hidden? And then the impossible. Voyager began transmitting telemetry logs it had never recorded. Old data reconstructed. Subsystems long considered dead reactivated. Gyroscopes aligned with constellations it had long passed. Commands it had never received executed on its own. The spacecraft, 1970s technology, suddenly performed tasks far beyond its design. The probe was not broken. It was evolved. The images were worse. Flickers of stars. Shadows moving across the vacuum of space. Shapes that weren't artifacts of the instruments, but something else entirely. Echoes of something out there. Was Voyager recording the past? The present? Or something outside both? Something that existed in the void, beyond time itself? Inside NASA, whispers became urgent discussion. Scientists began referring to the plasma behavior as the response field. What was once background noise became structured, deliberate, rhythmic. The void had a language, and Voyager had triggered it. The signals weren't random. They were organized. Layered. Patterned. Responding. Observing. Calculating. Even now, faint pulses continue. Cosmic rhythms, repeating, precise, deliberate. A heartbeat echoing across the edge of the solar system, across light years. The universe may not be silent. It may not be indifferent. And we, for all our instruments and curiosity, may be only now being noticed. Voyager 2 didn't merely discover the edge of the sun's influence. It discovered that we are being watched. That the void has a structure. A rhythm. A consciousness. And perhaps it is testing us, measuring our instruments, our precision, our persistence. The probe is no longer merely a machine. It is a participant in a dialogue that we barely comprehend. The data reveals patterns in the plasma density, the magnetic fields, and even in the interstellar dust around Voyager. Fractals appear where none should exist. Spirals and waves, repeating across scales, hint at structure, at design. The boundary of our solar system is no longer a wall. It is a mirror. A lens. A canvas being actively painted with signals, rhythms, and pulses. And then the telemetry became visual. Subtle images, flickers, shadows, shapes. Movement in the void, as if Voyager had stumbled into a gallery of cosmic echoes. Were these memories of objects? Records of distant civilizations? Or evidence that the void itself archives the history of matter, energy, and life? Somewhere, far beyond the last planet, something is awake. Something observing. Something responding. The pulse is not just noise. The spirals are not just natural chaos. Voyager has crossed into a space where time, energy, and consciousness intertwine. Where physics as we know it becomes philosophy. Where every pulse, every wave, every flicker could be a question, a statement, or even a warning. Voyager didn't find emptiness. It found an invitation. A mirror. A watcher. A consciousness stretching across the void, noting our reach, our curiosity, our persistence. So, we are left with this question. Are we listening to space, or is space listening to us? The void is no longer silent. And Voyager, the tireless scout launched in the hope of discovery, is now a messenger, and perhaps, a witness. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Share this with anyone who still believes the void is empty. Comment below. Was Voyager merely observing, or was it being shown something far older, far larger, and far more aware than our solar system could contain?